So this is a quick unboxing of Arkham Horror the card game. It is a living card game from Fantasy Flight Games. This is a living card game, so you get a set number of copies of each card in each box. Fantasy Flight has a tendency with their core boxes for their living card games to require more than one in order to have a full set to be able to build any deck that you want. Arkham Horror is no exception. It requires two core sets in order to have the two copies of each card that you can have in your deck. With one core set, you can have up to two people playing. This can be played solo. With two core sets, you can support up to 4 people. The core box has a campaign arc with 3 parts in it. Each story arc starts with a core box called a deluxe box that has 2 of each card in that set for it, so you don't need to buy 2 of them. And then it is followed by 6 mythos packs, which are just card packs that add the additional chapters to the story, as well as additional cards for you to play in your deck. Let's get to the box. Set the lid to the side for now. So the box comes with a learn to play guide. This will give you the basic rules of the game. It comes with a rules reference, which is a more in-depth set of rules for the game. And then it gives you the campaign guide, which has the additional campaign setups for the rest of the campaign that's in the core box. The first setup is in the learn to play guide for the gathering, which is the first scenario. You also get this campaign log, which allows you to record the things that happen during the game, because those things affect later scenarios and also the way that your decks are put together. You gain experience points by playing a scenario, which you can then use to upgrade the cards in your deck for an RPG-like feel in a card game, which is really nice. It also comes with a set of tokens. This is definitely enough to play with 2 players. But if you plan to play with 4 players, you kind of need the additional core set for the extra cards and also the additional tokens that it gives you. We can often find ourselves running out of tokens when we try to play with more than 2 people. A unique thing about this game is the way that it handles randomness. Instead of having dice or other methods of randomly determining what happens, it has a bag full of these fate tokens, and you mix up the bag and draw 1 token when you try to complete some kind of a test. The type of token determines what happens. Sometimes it's a modifier to your skill, which is pretty straightforward, and then other times there's these special tokens which change based on the scenario, so it gives them a lot of flexibility in how they want to handle the randomness in the game. So next we have these Investigator Carts, which give you a way of marking your place in the game. The game's played out with locations that are placed on the board, and then you use your Investigator placard to mark where you are and whether you've taken your actions or not this turn. Gameplay is asynchronous, so players can play in any order each round, and it can change every round, which helps when you're trying to accomplish a certain goal and you need somebody to be somewhere or not somewhere, or to kill a monster first or something like that in order to progress. So there are 5 investigators in the base game, 1 for each color or faction in the game. So the first one is Wendy. She is a survivor. There is Agnes. She is a mystic. There is Skids O'Toole, the gangster. He is a rogue. There's Daisy, the librarian. She is a seeker. And there is Roland Banks, the FBI agent. He is a guardian. So there are 5 colors in the game. There's a set of story cards which have both agendas and acts. The agendas are the things the villains are trying to do to the story, and the acts are the things the investigators are trying to do to resolve. The pacing in who pushes which first is a key part of the game and how the pacing of the game works. There's a series of locations, things that your investigator will be encountering in the game. And the last stack of cards, which is the last thing in the box, is your Investigator Cards. So these are the things that either your investigator starts with in their deck, is mandatory to have in their deck, which is based on the deck building rules. So each investigator has a different set of restrictions in what they can and can't have in their deck, as well as what they have to have in their deck. So there is a set of those. There's both a unique item as well as a unique weakness for each investigator. In addition, there is a set of basic weaknesses that you will get one of at the start of the scenario that is detrimental to your investigator. So there's a set of blue cards that are guardian cards. Those are typically damage and protection type cards. There's a set of seeker cards, which seekers are the ones who are best at investigating, typically. So their cards focus on increasing your investigation abilities and finding clues. There is the rogue cards, which are green. Rogues are good at a little bit of everything, but not masters at any one specific thing. A lot of them can be good fighters, some can be good investigators. They're good at tying up monsters by evading them and also generating resources. Purple is Mystic. Mystics are the magic users in Arkham. They do a little bit of everything, but they rely completely on their spells and their willpower. So their spells have charges, and when those charges run out, the spells go away. So they're pretty draw dependent on getting the right things when they need them. Red is Survivors. Survivors are exactly what they say. They have things that make them good at getting away from monsters, luck dependent things that affect the bag, reducing wounds, things like that have to do with just surviving to the next turn. And then there's a set of generic cards that every investigator can use if their deck building restrictions allow them to use generic cards, which all of them in the base set do. Some of them in later ones may not. So there's both items and skill cards, and then the set of basic weaknesses. So that's what's in the box for Arkham Horror LCG. I'll be doing more of these for each of the deluxe expansions as well as the Mythos packs, so you can kind of get an idea of what comes in the box. Most of the LCGs from Fantasy Flight are pretty similar in what they include, and the fact that you have to have more than one in order to complete your set. But like I said, the deluxe boxes and the Mythos packs all have everything that you need in each one, so the only thing that you need multiples of is the core box itself. So I will be doing a solo playthrough of the core campaign that comes in this box. Look for that later on the channel, and thank you for watching.